Hello guys, and welcome to my very first video. Today I'm gonna show you how to create very simple to-do app where user can create, edit and delete tasks just using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's see how it works. As you can see here, it displays current time. Also, user can create task just simply clicking the create task button, and as you can see when task is created, also messages show. Clicking this button, user can delete task, also check or uncheck if done, and also edit task if you want to. Also, this website uses local storage, so the data is not lost. After that, I'm going to show you how to upload it online on GitHub. So let's get it started. To get started, we are going to need a folder, and open this folder with any code editor you like. I'm gonna use Visual Studio Code. As you can see, my folder contains CSS folder and index.html file. In CSS folder, I have images folder where there is background image, and also JavaScript folder where I'm going to add JavaScript files, and styles folder there is just one style.css file, and as you can see, there is just small CSS. I imported this CSS with a link right here. So let's start creating our HTML structure. For that, we are going to need create a main container div that's going to wrap all the to-do app. In container, we are going to need time container and also task container. In time container, we are going to need a background image. Let's write alt of. And also we are going to need time div. So we are going to display current time. Let's write fake time here. And after writing JavaScript code, we are going to update it automatically. Okay. So now let's continue with task container. In task container, we are going to have a dialog with ID of, let's say, from dialog. In this dialog, we are going to have a form where user can create or edit task. After that, we are going to have button with ID of show dialog. After clicking this button, user can open dialog and create task. So after this button, we are going to have tasks div. This div is going to wrap all the tasks a user create. So let's create a fake task right now. After that, JavaScript is going to handle all the task part. So in task div, we are going to have description div and also actions. In description div, we are going to have like task title and due date, and also checkbox. And in actions div, we are going to have edit and delete buttons. So in description part, we are going to need label for checkbox 1, for example. JavaScript is going to handle all of this unique ID stuff. So let's write checkbox 1 right now, and after that, we are going to update it with JavaScript. So let's create input, type equals checkbox. We don't need a name right now, and ID checkbox 1. In this label, also we are going to need a div with class of task title. So in task title, we are going to need the p tag. And there will be located task title, and this p tag is going to have ID of input value, and special ID for this one is going to be 1. Okay. So you may ask why I put this div in label. Actually, let's show you how it works. I put this div in label because when I click lower, this text right here, or this checkbox is also checked. So that's why I did it. Okay. After this label, we are going to display to date. So we are going to create a div with a class of task time. In this div, they are going to be span ID should be date, value, and special ID. It's going to be handled by JavaScript. And here, let's write fake to date, for example. Like this. Okay. After that, we are going to add actions buttons. Actions buttons are going to be two buttons. First one is going to be delete button, and second one is edit button. So to import SVGs, I'm going to use herocoins.com, where you can search SVG you want to use. So I'm going to search trash can and paste it right here. And also we are going to need edit icon, like so. Yeah, as you can see, it's right here. It needs styling, and yeah, it's almost done. Okay, we said our fake task is created. Now let's create our form dialog. So in our dialog, we are going to have form that's going to handle adding task function. So this form is going to have ID of task form and class is going to be updated by JavaScript. So we are going to leave it blank right now. So in form, we are going to have a p tag where we display what type of form it is, like is it adding task or is it editing task. So for now, let's write add task. Okay. After that, we are going to need two divs actually. First one is going to contain text input, label for first one is going to contain task title, and let's add also span tag. In this span tag, we are going to display any errors if for example, if input value is empty, we are going to display this error in this span tag. Let's actually copy it, paste it here. It's input, not inut. And task date, let's change it here, task date, and also not task but date. Like this. After that, we are going to have create task button. So this button is going to submit our form. So it's going to have class of add task, and also this button name is based on what type of form is if it is add form, like if we are adding task, this button is going to have add not add but create task name, but if we are editing task, it's going to have edit task name. So it will be handled by JavaScript. We don't have to worry about that. So after that, we are going to need the X button that's going to close our dialog without doing anything. So for that, we are going to create another button with type of button so that it does not submit our form. And also we are going to need ID of exit dialog for that. Okay, in this we are going to use herocoins also, and let's search exit. How about this? Yeah, let's copy this xmark svg and paste it right here. As you can see, it is not displayed right now because dialog is not open. To open this dialog, we are going to add this open attribute, and as you can see, it's now open. Yeah, and it's going to be handled by JavaScript, of course. Okay, so now let's create another div in our container div. That's going to be contain success message. And in this div is going to be another div, and in this div is going to be span with ID of success message. And in this span set is going to be actual success message. And also so we're going to add another div with ID of timeout, and this div is going to show the timeout when success box appears right here. Okay, now let's start styling. As you can see, I have added root pseudo class here that contains all the colors I'm gonna use during this video. So we can pause this video and copy it. Okay, now let's start styling. Let's start styling with body element. Background is going to be body background color from var. To use this color, we just want to write this var, and in this var we are going to write the name of the color. Okay, after that we're going to add padding of 0 the top and bottom, and 0.5 rem to left and right. Okay, now let's style our main container. Our main container max width is going to be 30 rem, and to make sure that our container always takes up maximum amount of space, we are going to add width of 100%. After that, we're going to center it, so let's add margin. Top is going to be 2 rem, top and bottom, and left and right is going to be auto, so it is centered. As you can see, it's centered. Okay, after that, let's add border radius of let's see 0.5 rem, and background color of white. Okay, as you can see, border radius does not work here because we have to add overflow hidden, so that image is not over our container and it does not cover our containers corners. Okay, after that, as you can see, in our container we have 2 divs. The first one is tasks container, and not task but time container and task container. Let's style our time container, so let me just copy it. Time container, it's going to be height of 15 rem, also overflow hidden, so image is cropped. That's nice. And let's style this image. This image is going to be width of 100%, height of 100%, and object fit of cover. So no matter what width of the screen, it's still going to cover our time container div, and as you can see, it does. Okay, after that, we are going to style this time div right here that contains current time. So time container, this time div with ID of time, is going to be position absolute, and this to work we need the time container to be position of relative. Okay, position absolute, let's see, bottom of 1.5 rem, also right of 1.5 rem. As you can see, it appeared right here. Okay, let's add color of white so that it looks clearer, and text align of right. That's better. Okay, now let's style this H4 and H2. tags. So first one is h4 tag. Let's say font. Let's increase font size actually. Font size is going to be 1.5 rem, and also let's copy it and replace h4 with h2, and font size is going to be much larger, 2.5 rem. Okay, that's better. Actually, let me add font family. Let me import font family from fonts.google.com. Okay, let me see. This one looks nice. You can select any font you like. Let's get code and let me see. When value, this one. Let's make sure you check this import here and copy this code and paste it all the way up here. Okay, after that we're going to copy this CSS code and paste it in our new HTML tag. Yeah, that worked, and it looks much better now. Now let's style our tasks container. In task container going to be have padding of 1.5 rem. Okay, as you can see, success message is still shown, so let me actually comment this out. We don't need that right now. Okay, in tasks container, as you know, here is create task button. Actually, let me open this dialog to see what's going on. And as you can see here, we also have second create task button. And as these buttons are going to have the same styles, I'm going to add the same class name to them. So where is it? Second button. This button is going to have, let's see, green btn class, and let me copy this class, close it, we don't need it, and add this class right here. Okay, after that, let's style this green btn. This green btn which is going to be 100%. Background is going to be fair or green btn color. Color is going to be white. All the buttons are going to have border of none, so let me add it right here, and let me actually add background color of transparent. Yeah, that's better. After that, let's add padding of 0.5 rem, border, not border, but border radius of 0.5 rem also, so that it's rounded beautifully. Font size of 1.2 rem, and font weight of 600, and that's it. Okay, let's add hover effect. It's going to be background of, well, actually I don't have this background color here, so let's create it. Let's copy it and right like this, and when it's hovered, let's make it a little darker. And yeah, let's add also transition of 1.3 seconds, and let's make sure it's color. Okay, that's better. Not color, but background. Yeah, like this. Okay, after that, in this tasks container, we have this dialog. So let's style this dialog right now. Let's actually copy this ID and paste it right here and start styling it to see what we're doing. Let's open it. Okay, as you can see, this button is green, so it's working. Default form dialog position when it's opened is absolute, but we need fixed so that when user scrolls, it still stays centered. Let's make sure when at this time when dialog is opened. So position is going to be fixed, left is going to be 0, top is going to be also 0, height is going to be 100%, and width is also going to be 100%. Background color is going to be fair of dialog PG color. Okay, and let's add display of flex to center our form. So align items is going to be center, and justify content, you guessed it, center. As you can see, our form is centered. To make sure it stays on top of everything, let's add the index of 999. Okay, after that, let's style our form with ID of task form. So actually this has almost identical styles with this container. So let's copy it and paste it here. Margin, we don't need that. Actually we do, but not auto. No, we don't need margin, we just need padding. Doesn't it have padding? Okay. Let's make sure to remove border from our dialog like this. After that, let's add padding. Okay, background color white. Padding is going to be 1.5 rem. That's better. Display is going to be flex. Flex, and flex direction is going to be column. Align items. Align items center. Let's add cap, also 1.5 rem, and yeah, that looks nice. After that, in this form we have two divs that contains this inputs with label. So let's style them. Before I style them, let's style this P right here. So it's direct child of our task form. So I'm going to use this symbol right here. This font size, let's say 1.2 rem. Okay, font weight of 900. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, after that, let's style our divs. So again, it's direct child of our task form. So width is going to be 100% to make sure it covers whole width. Display is going to be flex, and flex direction is going to be column like this. Also, let's add gap of, let's see, 0.2 rem. So it looks nice. Okay, in these divs, as you can see, we have this input. Let's style them. Input. Let's set padding of 0.2 rem. Also font size 1 rem. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, after that, let's show an error if this input values are empty. To do that, I'm gonna imitate error by adding class of error to this input. It's going to be handle JavaScript, of course. Okay, let me copy it, and where there is an error, a next sibling that is span is going to have after pseudo class. Content is going to be please write something. As you can see, it shows up. Let's change the color of error color. Okay, let's change font size. Let's see 0.9 rem. Yeah. Okay, now let's style our exit dialog button. Let's add it here and style it. This button is going to have position of absolute. I'm going to display it right here. Okay, top is going to be 1 rem, right is going to be 1 rem, color is going to be red BTN color. Then let's add padding of 0.3 rems, border radius 50%, so it's whole rounded, and transition, let's say transition of 0.2 seconds. When I hover it, it's going to be okay. After that, as you can see, it doesn't show up, we cannot see it right now, but it's because SVG does not have width and height. When I edit with, let's say, 1.5 rem, and height also 1.5 rem, as you can see, it does show up right here. To fix it, we are going to add position related to our task form, and as you can see, it is fixed. After hovering, let's add hover effect, and transition to 0.2 seconds, and it's going to be background, and this background is going to be, let's say, I have not. Let's actually edit right here. BTN BG hover. It's going to be like, let's say, gray, and let's change this gray into something beautiful like this, and let's make it hex. Okay, background is going to be fair of this. Let's make it a little transparent. So it's better. And yeah, that's good. After that, we are going to style. Let's actually close this dialog because dialog is already styled, and let's now style our tasks div. Okay, this tasks div is going to have margin top of 1.5 rem. Looks better. Okay, now let's style our task. It's going to be display of flags, align items center, justify content space between. To separate multiple tasks from each other, it's going to have border top of 1 pixel, solid, and let me add color here. It's task border color, and it's going to be, let's say, it's going to be gray. So let's edit here Yeah, that looks very beautiful. After that, it also needs padding of 1 rem top and bottom and 0 to left and right, so that to make this task how it works. Yeah, it looks better, but let me remove the border from the first task because it doesn't need that. To do that, let's copy this class name and add first child, and here it's going to have border top of none, and padding top is going to be 0. Okay, after that, I don't need this task anymore. Let's style our description div. So copy this class name and add it here. Task description. And in this description we have label, and let's style it. So this label is going to have display of flex and align items center. It works. Okay, after that, let's add a gap of, let's say, 0.5 rem. That's better. And when I check this input, lines, this text decorations should be line through. So let me edit right now. So in this label we have input of checkbox, input type equals checkbox, and when it's checked, this sibling element right here, the task title, and this task title has child p, and this p tag should have text decoration of line through. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it does. Actually, I don't like default styles of this input, so I'm gonna import already done styles from this website right here, codepen.io. So just copy it and paste it somewhere here like this. Just make sure to add this task description label, so that this it does not affect all the input with type checkbox, but this special one. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, it did. It looks much better now, but as you can see, gap is increased, so I don't need this gap anymore. It's actually very beautiful. Okay, after that, let's style our this task time div right here. Where is it? It's here, this task time div. Okay, let's add all of this text here so that it affects only this task time div. There is no other task time div, but still it's better approach to use it like this. And let's style it. Let's add of as you can see, it should be under this text to look better. So to do that, as you can see, this input checkbox is 2020, so 20 pixels plus it has what margin of 8 pixels, so 20 pixels plus 8 pixels is 28 pixels. So this margin left is going to be the 28 pixels. Yes, it's better. And let's add margin top. So also to make it happen, let's say 0.3 rem of margin top, margin right 0, margin bottom 0, and margin left 28 pixels, and it works perfectly. So in this div there is this pen element right here, and this pen element is going to have different color. So color is going to be secondary text color. Okay, that looks better. Okay, with that our form dialog, not form dialog, but our task is styled, task description is styled, so we need this action button to style right now. So add this comment right here to not to get lost when we take a look after some time on our code. So actions button, let's add all of this text front. It's in this div there is button, two buttons actually, so they are going to have width of, let's say, what was the width of this exit button in our dialog. This width was 1.5 rem. Okay, and it also had a padding of 0.3 rems, so this width is going to be 1.8 rems total. Let's see, yeah, but no, 1.8 rem is too much. Let's make 1.5 rem. Height is 1.5 rem also, and let's add padding of 0.3 rem. No, let's remove padding, it's not necessary. Okay, after that there are two buttons. First one is going to be red and second one is going to be orange, and to make it happen, let's copy it from here. We don't have classes for this button, we don't need to, we can just access them with first child and second child. So first child is this delete button, and this color is going to be for, let's say, red button color, and the second child we can access this NTS child of second is going to have color of for this edit pattern color. Okay, as you can see, our style, our task styling is done, and we just need to style our success message div right now. So success message div also is going to have active class when it's active, and it's going to be handled by JavaScript. So let's add it, and let's also add this comment right here, copy this class and paste it here. So make sure success message div default display is none, so it doesn't show up, and it only shows up when it is active, and let's say display of block. Okay, that's very good. So it should show up right here, not here. So at position of not relative but absolute, actually not absolute but fixed, so that it stays on right here if user scrolls. Position fixed, top is going to be, let's say, 1.5 rems, right is going to be also 1.5 rem, and background color is going to be this color right here. Actually, let me access this with more this green BTN color. Also text color is going to be white, of course, but let's write it with hex, and border radius is going to be 0.5 rem. Also font size is going to be increased, and it's going to be 1.1 rem. Font weight is going to be 500, and overflow is going to be hidden. So after that, let's style our div right here. There can be multiple divs, of course, and if it does that, as you can see, this, of course, we don't need it. So let me actually change styling right here so that it does not have background color. So when success message div is active, its direct child div is going to be have background color of this green BTN color, Also border radius is going to have 0.5 rem and overflow of hidden. Let's make sure it has display flex. Flex direction is of course column, and gap is 0.5 rem. So this div also is going to have paddings. Let's say 0.5 rem. Also, let's set position of relative, because we are going to need it to display timeout properly, and overflow hidden. Yeah, it's written here. Okay, after that, let's style span element. It's also direct child of it. Color is going to be white. So when I edit, we can remove it from here. Let's add font weight and font size here. Also, and yeah, that's done. After that, let's copy it and style our timeout div. This timeout div is going to have position of absolute. It's going to be like decrease its width from 100% to 0 to show the time is running, and after it does so, it's going to disappear. So position is going to be absolute, bottom is going to be 0, and left is going to be also 0. Height is going to be let's say 3 pixels probably, and background color is white, and we need animation. So let's name this animation timeout. It's going to take let's say 2.7 seconds. It's going to be linear. So let's create this animation. Timeout when on 0%, it's going to have width of 100%, and when our animation is finished, it's going to have width of 0. So let's see why it doesn't work. It has ID of timeout, not class of timeout. But it's my bad. It doesn't need to be ID. It should be class. So as you can see, it worked. If you refresh our website, it works perfectly. After that, let's make sure whenever this div appears, it has beautiful animation. To add it, let's also add animation here. Its name is going to be show success message. Time it is going to be probably 0.4 seconds. Let's make it 3. And it's going to be is in out. Okay, let's create this animation here also. Keyframes. Okay, on 0%, it's going to be right of -100%, and when the animation is done, it's going to be right of 1.5 rem. So as you can see, it appears smoothly. Okay, with that our styles CSS file is finished. So let's start creating JavaScript. Okay, now let's create our first JavaScript file right here, and its name is going to be update time.js, as it's going to handle the time updation right here. So first of all, we need to get this div ID, it's time. So let's create variable named time div, and it equals to document.getElement by ID time. Okay, actually let me open console because we are going to need it right here. Okay, so to update this time, we are going to create this function named update time. You can name it whatever you want. So let's get an current date value from using JavaScript. So let's create variable named now equals new date. So let's look now and see what's inside of it. So let's actually call this update time function. Before you do that, just don't make mistake and import your script right here. Now it works. Okay, as you can see, it displays our time. If we want to get, for example, day, we can simply call getDate function, and when we console.log set, it displays 7 because it's 7th of July. Okay, so now let's get all of these values and save it as variables. So after that, I want to show you one little thing that's very important. If we, for example, console.log, let's say date, not date, but let's say months. It's not months, but months. It's now it's July, but it, as you can see, it console.logs 6, not July. So if we want to show months like this, like July, we have to create separate array for that. And let me just do it and show what I mean. So we set our month names variable array is created, and now if we console.log month names and months, it's going to console July. So it works. We need to create another variable for our weekdays, because it's pretty much the same thing here. As you can see, it console.log 0 instead of Sunday. So let me do that also. Let's make sure you start with Sunday because it's the first day. Sunday. Okay, and if we console.log our day names day, as you can see, it works. Okay, after that, let's update our time right here. So this time div, as you know, has two children. So first one is h4 and second one is h2. So the first one, inner HTML, is going to be like this. Day names day to display what day it is. Then it's going to be let me actually close it here. Months names months, and in the middle of it, it's going to be date. As you can see, it works. Okay, let me actually delete it from here because we don't need it. It's already automatically updated. So the second child, as you know, is h2. So its inner HTML is going to be hours, and also it's going to display minutes like this. So when hours or minutes is equal to one digit number, let's say hours equals to, let's say 5, not 16, as you can see, it displays 542. And if, for example, minutes equals to 1, it's going to display 51. I don't like it, so to change it, to fix it, we are going to do it like this. Let's make sure this hour is string, and when it's done, so we are going to use ped start and 0 and 2 and 0 to explain how it works. Ped start basically takes two values. First one is minimum the number of digits, and second one is digits that is going to take the place. So how it works, when, for example, this hour is one digit number, for example 5, our ped start is going to make sure that it's at least 2-digit number and insert 0 before 5. Also there is pedant, and it's going to insert 0 after 5. So but we need ped start, so that's it, how it's done. So let's make sure to change our hours with now dot get hours, and so does now. Let's change our minutes with now dot get minutes. Okay, after that, let's simply copy it, paste it here, and not hours but minutes. So as you can see, it displays current time properly. So to make sure it updates automatically, we are going to set interval and update time. It's going to call update time function in every 1 second. Okay, everything is done perfectly, but I don't like when it changes the values with when actual value is not changed. As you can see, it's still 1645, but it every 1 second it still updates h2, this value of h2. So to fix it, I'm going to just create previous values of every this variable, and let's do it. So before updating this inner HTML, I'm going to write if statement. So if prev day is not equal to a current day, or prev months is not equal to months, current months, and if prev date is not equal to dates, we are going to update our inner HTML and let's make sure these values equal also update. So make sure it prev day is equal to day, and so on, like this. So let's see if it works. As you can see, it is not updated in every 1 second, but it will be updated as soon as one of these variable changes. Let's do the same right here. Let's add if statement. So if previous hours is not equal to hours, or previous minutes are not equal to minutes, we are going to update our inner HTML and make sure we also update our variables like this. Okay, we set our update the time .js file is done. I just want to export these variables in different JavaScript files, so I'm gonna create different JavaScript file for that named variables, because after we create the main JavaScript file, we are going to have main variables, so it's really handy to create separate file for that. So this variable to be useful for this update time.js and accessible, we are going to import this variable.js before importing update time.js, and let's see if it works. And yeah, it does. Okay, now let's create our main JS file. So it's going to handle all of the task operations. After creating our main.js file, let's make sure we import it here. And also make sure you import it after variables.js, because variable.js variables is going to be used in our main.js file. Okay, the first thing I want to do in this main.js file is to create a show form dialog function. That's going to display show our dialog. This one right here. Where is it? This dialog right here, that contains our form, and it should this form actually, let me actually cut it from here, this form, because it's going to be inserted by JavaScript. So this form is going to handle as creating task, also editing task. So for that to work, we are going to accept the type variable here to know if user is creating or editing a task. After accepting the type, actually let create a variable named form dialog. That's going to be our dialog element with ID of form dialog. Okay. Okay. When we open our how to open our dialog, as you probably know, dialog to be opened, it needs this open attribute right here. Yeah, now it's opened. To do it with JavaScript, we just want to create form dialog dot open. Write it like that, and that should work. Let's make sure we add event listener to that button to open our dialog. This button, let's take ID and write it here. Let's create a variable named show dialog, and it equals to document.getElement by ID and show dialog. Okay, show dialog. Let's actually write it like this: show dialog btn, not to be confused. Show dialog btn dot add event listener. We are going to listen to click operation. When it's clicked, we are going to open show form dialog, and type is going to be add. So we add because we are creating our task. We are adding our task. Okay. When you click that, error occurs. Why the form not, my bad, not open but show, my bad. Okay, when you create task, as you can see, it works. Actually, let's make sure that we can also close it. So create another function, close form dialog. It does not need any type of variable to accept, and just simply write for form dialog dot close, and make sure it's close. Okay, and let's add event listener to this button right here with ID of exit dialog. It's ID of exit dialog, and let's create variable named exit dialog btn. I'm creating this variable here because it won't be accessible whenever site loads, but when we show this dialog, then it's going to be accessible. So exit dialog dot add event listener, click, and it's going to simply close form dialog. Let's see if it works. When you click create task, it shows dialog, and when you click this exit button, it does close the dialog. Okay, after that, let's make sure that form dialog.inner.html equals to this form right here. Let's cut this form, let's collapse it and cut it like this, and write this type of, I don't know what it's called, but you can type it with it's below escape button. Just click it once and you can type it. And now let's see if it works. When we create task, no, it does not. Okay, why? I don't know. Let's cut it. We don't need it. Yeah, now it does. Okay, it works. So when we accept this type, let's make sure we use it correctly. So this form class should be this type, because it's going to be important. Also, when we create task, it should display here create task and create task here also. But when we edit task, it should when we edit task, it should display edit task here and here also. Let's make sure it's not edit but create like this. Okay. So if it's where is that button? Okay, this p tag should be updated automatically, and it should be type. Name should be type. So when we click create task, it's going to be create task, and this button also. Then make sure it's type. Okay, if type is edit, for example, when dialog opens, it's going to display say this edit task. Okay, why does not it work? This styles here. Let me see, because class is edit task. My bad. It should be green btn. Now it should work. Let's see. Okay, it does. Very good. Okay, after that, I don't like it written like this. Let's make sure we create separate variable for that. So go to variables.js file and create another variable. Its name is going to be let's see, create form. It's going to be a function that's going to return this right here, and it's also going to accept type as a variable. So let's create form and pass type. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that's much better, and also code looks cleaner. Let's make sure first of all we form dialog in HTML equals to form, and then we show form, and it will be better for user. So okay, now let's when we open this dialog, I think it's better to close it when we click on this black background right here. To make it happen, let's add exit form dialog event listener. So form dialog dot add event listener. Let's listen to click and close form dialog. So it should work. Let's see. When we click this overlay right here, it works. But when we click on this form, it does close our dialog also. We don't need it. To stop this, we are going to add task form event listener. Now let's make sure we create task form a variable. Let's see what's its ID. So ID is task form. So const task form equals to document.getElement by ID task form, and task form dot add event listener. Click. Let's make sure we pass event and dot preventive, not preventive out, but stop propagation. So it means that when we click on this form of HTML, it's going to stop propagation, and it's going to stop this form dialog, triggering this close form dialog function. Actually, we don't need to declare this event listener here, because form dialog is accessible from everywhere. Just if we do this right here, it's good enough. Let's write it right here. Let's also add comments. Let's count it like handle showing for dialog. This one is handling closing for dialog, and this one is showing for dialog, and this one is closing for dialog. Okay, that looks better. With that, we have added our dialog functionality. Now let's continue. Okay, now let's create a function that's going to handle adding the tasks. Let's call it add task. Okay, let's make sure when we click this create task button, it's show from dialog add and not, I'm sorry, create. Okay, add task. So this function is going to take no, this function is going to be triggered when form is submitted, this task form is submitted. So let add event listener to this task form. It's going to be submit. Let's pass event so that we prevent default behavior, so that when we click the submit button, it does not reload the page. Let's take a look to see what's going on. Let's say, no, we don't need to open it actually. I have already added this JavaScript functionality. Okay. So when I click create task, as you can see, it does not refresh our page. That's good. Okay, after that, let's take these values from this and these inputs. To do that, let's declare them as variables. Let's call it task input. Not task input, but let's be task description. The document dot get element by ID, and the ID is task input. And don't forget to add dot value so that it gets value. Let's paste it here. Task the description and task date. Okay, and task date here. Okay, to see if that works, let's console.log task date and task input. Not task input, but task description. Okay, let's create task right here, hello world, whatever you like, and task from .add event license, submit default, and add task. Make sure we trigger this function. Now let's create once again. And yeah, it does work. We get values. Okay, after that we are going to store these values as variables. To do that, let me create another variable here. Let's actually cut it here and cut this and paste it here. It looks better. Now let's create variable. Let's name it tasks, and it's going to be an array that's going to store all our tasks. So our task is going to contain task description, task date. Also, it should have unique ID, and whether it's completed or not. It's completed is going to be Boolean. Okay, now let's do it. So we already have access to task description and task date. We just need to come up with unique ID. But before I come up with unique ID, I just want to already show what we are having, what we have here. So make sure to tasks dot unshift our values. So task date and task description. We don't have to write it like task date. Task date, JavaScript is going to handle it automatically. Okay, let's actually console.log our tasks. So what does unshift do? By the way, unshift adds our new task as a first value. We could use push, but push edits it as a last value, and it's not going to be perfect for our our app, because new when we add our task, it's going to be the first one in the row right here. Okay, now let's create our task, right? Whatever, it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, it does work. Okay, after that, as I said, we need ID and we need completed. And let's make completed false, because no task is going completed should be changed when we click this task, this checkbox right here. And default value should be false always. Okay, now let's create unique ID for each of them. So first of all, let's declare ID as a variable. Then I'm gonna write here if statement and also explain what I'm doing. So if our tasks.length equals to 0, so it means that if our tasks is empty, this ID should be equal to 1. So if our task array is 0, which does not contain any task, new task should have ID of 1. In else scenario, ID should equal to first task ID plus 1. As the first task is going to has the highest ID, if we plus 1 add 1 to that ID, we should get a unique ID for every task value. Okay, and if you're a little bit confused, don't worry, it's normal. I will also show you how it works afterwards. Okay, now let's, for example, create new task and see what's going on. As you can see, completed equals false, ID is 1 because our task previously was empty, and task date is this, and task description is hello world. Okay, let's change hello world into something lookup, for example, and like this, and we create task. As you can see, we already have 2 tasks. This ID is 2, ID is plus this first child plus 1, so it's 2 and it's unique, as you can see. Okay, as you already know, our to-do list app is going to have local storage, so every time we change our tasks, it gets updated, we have to store it. So let's add let's create new functions that's going to handle this. Store, for example, store tasks, and let's create this function, storing tasks. Okay, function store tasks, and it's going to store tasks. Tasks dot local storage dot set item tasks, and it's going to be JSON dot stringify. If you want to store array or object, we have to JSON dot stringify first this object and then store it or array. Okay, and yeah, let's see if it works. When you create task and write due date here and click this button, let's see in application and local storage, and yeah, it does work. Okay, also make sure that our tasks, when our page loads, our tasks also gets this value from here. So our task equals to local storage dot get item tasks, but we can't do that like this. We first have to JSON dot parse our value, because it was stringified. Now we have to JSON dot parse it. But what happens when our local storage is empty? Then we get error. To avoid this error, we have to write this like this. So what does it mean? If tasks equals JSON dot parse local storage get item tasks, if set exists, if set does not exist, then tasks equals to just empty array. So we avoid error. It's just one line if statement. We could have done it with if statement, but it's more convenient to write it in one line. Okay, with it done, we can now store and get our tasks from local storage. After that, when we create task, write something something here and we click create task. As you can see, this value and this value also is not still contains this task title and to date. Let's clear it. So to clear it, just simply write it. For example, right here, set task date dot value equals to empty string, and so does task description dot value. Also, make sure that we close our dialog, close from dialog. Let's trigger this function after this thing is done, and let's remove this console log. Okay. Also, we have to show success message that we created task, but let me do that later. After that, we need to generate tasks to show user right here their tasks. Okay, now let's call generate tasks function. We don't have created this function yet, but we're going to create it soon. Generating tasks. Okay, function generate tasks. And how is it going to work? As you know, here we have this div with ID of tasks. Let me actually clear it. We don't need anything in it. It's going to handle by JavaScript. So let's get this div declared here as variable. Const tasks div equals to document dot get element by ID tasks. Okay. Now, when generate task function is triggered, task div dot inner HTML should be equal to tasks dot map. We are going to map tasks and handle each task. Okay, and we should return this right here. Actually, I don't know the name of this whatever it is. You can write it. It's here on keyboard under escape, but so let's paste it here. Okay, and let's see if it works. Let's create task. Let's make sure to clear local storage. Okay, now let's create task. Hello world, then whatever. And as you can see, it does work, but its value is not updated automatically. To make it happen, just where is it? We can write here $, curly brackets. I guess it's called curly brackets, and task dot task description. And when we refresh it, it is not created because we are not generating tasks when page is loaded. So make sure to write trigger this function. After doing so, as you can see, it's updated. Let's make sure also to update this right here, this $, curly brackets, and task dot task date. Yeah, it's changed. Very nice. Okay. Also, this ID should be updated automatically. Make sure that main the task div ID is equal to task.id because we are going to need it after for JavaScript manipulations. This checkbox one is going to be checkbox task.id, and let's just copy it because we are going to need it more than one place. I guess that's good enough. No, also update this date value -1 into date value task.id, and right here also input value yeah. After that, we are going to make sure that this checkbox is checked if task based on this checkbox value right here. To make it happen, we can just simply write $, curly bracket, and if statement in one line. If let me see, task dot completed, right, question mark. If it's correct, it's going to be checked, else it's not going to do anything. Okay, if to see if it actually works, let's write it true here, so that when I create new task, it's going to have checked completed true. Okay, let's create new task. let's write date something for future. Let's create, and as you can see, it works. But here is this comma sign. We don't need that. To remove it, make sure when you map it, just right here, join and empty string. Okay, now it's gone. It was just the JavaScript default behavior. Then to remove it, we can simply write join and empty string. So it works. And yeah, now for better user experience, let's make sure if we have no tasks, we return something that shows our user that they have not don't have any task. So if tasks.length equals to 0, if does not equal to 0, let's say like this, it's going to trigger this function. But if it does equal to 0, it's going to task.innerHTML should equal to something like this p tag with message of you have 0 tasks. And if it remove all our tasks from local storage and refresh it, it works. But let me actually style it. Add class of no tasks, and make sure you write these signs, and with class of no tasks, open CSS, write it somewhere here, it does not really matter, for example here, and write color of let's say for secondary text color, font style italic, and text align center. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, and if we create task, as you can see, it's gone. Okay, let's continue. Before I continue, let's make sure we declare this as a variable to clean up our code right here. Let's call it create task. It's going to accept task as variable and return this. Okay, now let's make sure we return create task and pass task as variable. Let's see. Yeah, it does work. Let's create another task. It works. Also, let's make sure completed is false and change it here. Okay, after that, let's add handle delete functionality. So this is a delete button right here. So we have to first of all, let me add a class name to them, so I can get it with a query selector all easily. So class equals to, let's say, delete task ptn, and also make sure to edit here also, but not delete, but edit. Okay, now let's name it delete task with tns query select all, like this. Okay, now let's create for of function. So for of basically gets array and handles every item of array. It's like for each, but I prefer for of. So we are first one is going to be a single item of this array. That's we're going to name delete task pattern, and it's going to be of this delete task patterns. Okay, let's delete task pattern at event listener. Click and we need this event here to get the ID, and let's log it .id. Open log, and my bad, target .id. Not target.id, but delete button.id, because it can, this target can be this SVG here that doesn't have any ID. As you can see, now it works. So we have to get this story right here. To get it, we can just simply split it with this dash and get the third value. And if we do it and click it right here, as you can see, we get 3. And make sure we turn it into number, because we need number, not string. As you can see, now it's number. So let's save it as an ID right here, const ID equals this. Now we are going to trigger the function, let's call it delete task, and we should pass the ID. Now let's create delete function here, deleting task. So basically this function is straightforward. Delete, not delete task within, but delete task. Oh my god, delete task. It's going to get this ID, and it's just going to filter this tasks array, and return the task, all the task that ID is not equal to ID. Make sure tasks equal to this, and after we do that, let's save store tasks, and let's see if it works, and also generate tasks. Maybe. Okay, now let's see if it works. As you can see, it does work. When you create new task and write something, as you can see, this task is created, and when I click this delete button, it's deleted. Also, we need success message, but I'm gonna handle it later. Okay, now let's handle this check and uncheck of the task. For that, we are going to access this checkbox right here. Let's add class for that also, and class is going to be, let's say, checkbox, for example, because we don't have any class like that. We can easily use it. Let's do the same stuff here. Const checkbox, because it's many checkbox, equals to document.get. Let me copy it. Do this like this. Let me also copy this, because it's easier to do. Checkbox of checkbox. Box is, my bad, my grammar mistake. Okay, after that, let's add this is checkbox event listener. It's going to be check, and when it's checked, checkbox, we don't have to get the second, but third, but second value, because when you split it, it has actually. So to show you if it works, let me just check and uncheck it, and as you can see, it does not work. Okay, let's log checkbox. Let's change it here, checkbox, and where is the class? Class equals checkbox. Okay, my bad. Okay, now let's, if console.log checkbox, it works. Now it should work, but it does not console log anything. it's not check but input, I bet. And now it should work. Okay, it does work. And ID equals to 1. This is good. And now let's trigger not delete task but check task. Now let's add comment checking task like it. Let's add function check tag, and let's get ID from here. We can just simply declare it as a variable const task equals to tasks dot find task set task dot id equals to id, and then this task dot completed equals to opposite of what it was before, so task dot completed with like this. Okay, and if we check uncheck check uncheck, let's leave it like it, and if I refresh it's still checked. Well, that's not really good. Let's log. Oh my bad, I forgot to just store tasks. We don't have to generate tasks because it's already, as you can see, updated right here, so we don't have to generate tasks. We can just simply store tasks. As you can see, values, the value changes, and when we refresh it, yeah, it works. Okay, after that we have only one functionality left. It's editing the task, so let's do it also. Classes edit task button. Okay, so let's actually add the classes. Comment is right here. Deleting task. Here is checking task, and here is editing task. Okay, now let's declare a variable. Let's actually copy it, paste it here, copy it here, paste it here, and yeah, after that let's copy it too and paste it here, and not delete buttons but edit buttons. Control D, 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 and edit. Well done. Now let's add function here. Editing task. Function edit task. It's gonna give us an ID, and just simply log ID, see if it works. It does. Very nice. Let's create multiple tasks, by the way. Okay, let's create one more. Okay. Wow, really nice. I'm proud of myself. Okay, now when we want to edit tasks, we first of all have to show dialog, show form dialog. ID is the end type is going to be edit. After that, we are going to add this task from event listener of submit. Let me actually declare this task form. Okay, after that, let's add submit. But before I add this submit, let's check it if it has if task form class equals to edit. Then we have continue, and let's make sure here task form when we add event listener, we do so if it has a class name of create task form, so that when I'm editing my task, it does not create a new task but edit already existing task. Task dot form dot, oh my god, class name equals to create, then proceed, and let me copy it here and paste it all the way there. Okay, after that it's going to change our edit our task. So let's get task. First of all, we can simply do it like this. I'm just gonna copy code. So that's the task we are going to edit. So task, let's first of all get the values from our input to get to that. Let me actually copy it from where was it? It's here. Let me copy it, paste here, and write it like this: task dot task description equals to task description, also task dot task date equals to task date. Now store tasks, generate new ones, and we are good to go. Let me edit this task right here. But before doing so, I forgot that this in a input value should be already existing value and date. To do that, let me make sure that task description equals to task description and task date equals to task date, but it should equal when I open this form, so it should be outside of this task form and right here. And to make it work, let's declare this variables outside of this submit also. So if I edit task, wow, it still doesn't work because here is a problem. I don't need to add this dot value here. I should add it like this, and then it should work. And let's make sure to add dot value here also. Now if I edit task, wow. Okay, tasks, let's log them. Task is not defined. Okay, let's declare it outside also. I made a mistake, my bad. Now it should work. If I edit, as you can see, it does work. Now let's change my name into Luca, and let's update. And when I click edit task, it's edited, but it does not close our dialog. It's very simple to do that. Just close from dialog, call this function. Wow, yeah, it works. Very good. Let's change it date also. Let's change it 2028, whatever, it does not really matter. Let's edit task, and as you can see, it works. Let's uncheck, it works. Let's delete, it still works. Very good. Now we have to make our website better in terms of let me actually show you. When I click when task title is empty and due date is empty and click create task, as you can see, task is still created. We have to avoid this situation. To do that, I should validate tasks. So if validate tasks, then if, for my bad, if cannot validate tasks, it should return and don't add any task. Okay, actually it's better if I No, it's still the same. Okay, now let's create this validate task function right here, function validate tasks, and we are going to get task, of course. Let's get validate task. No, we should not get the task, but we should get actually, let me remove this from here, and let's add right here. After that, we should get task description, and we should get task date to validate our tasks successfully. Now get description, date, and let's validate. If date dot trim, so trim, what does trim do? Trim is going to make sure that this does not pass our test. This is like blank spaces. If date dot trim dot not dot but equals to empty array, it's going to return false. Also else, also let's write another if. So JavaScript checks both of them, not date dot trim but task dot trim equals to empty array is also going to return false. Just write it in one if statement like this. If one of these task fails, it's going to return false. Okay, so if I click create task and create it, as you can see, it does not continue, and it stops right here. So as you can see, this validation can actually handle pretty basic stuff, but we need more complicated. Actually, let me edit right here. This edit when this form is submitted. Let me validate it. Where is it? Edit submit, and if it cannot be validated, return. Okay, to make it more complicated, let's write it like this. If this does not equal to empty array, and so does not this, and make sure that both of them is both of the statement are true, it returns true. Else it should return false. And now let's write complicated part. If problem is this one right here, so it's empty, it should date dot class list dot add error, so we can handle it with error in else situation. Else if situation, if the problem is description, it should also add this class name right here and class list, and only add this if it does not have it. So to write it like this, date.class dot contains error. If date already does not already contains it, it's going to avoid adding it, and if it does not, it's going to add error. So let's do the same here. If it does not contain this class name, it's going to add it. Copy it here and paste it here and add. Okay, now I'm passing values, not actual element. To fix it, just task description equals to not dot value but the actual element, and also make sure that task date here is task date dot value, and task description is task description dot value. after doing it, if we create task with nothing in it, date.trim is not a function. Yeah, my bad. I have to write date.value.trim here to trim value, not actual element. Now it should work perfectly. And right here, if I create task without anything, it does not do it. Okay, just why? Date and yeah, not else if, but if to check both of them. When the JavaScript gets the first one right, it returns true, so it does not check else if. To make sure both of them are checked, it should be separate if functions. Type date.class date.contain is not a function. Okay, class.contains. My bad, it should be contains, not contain. Now let's create, and it still does not work. Okay, why does not it work? It's date, no, my bad, it's description. Date, not date, but description. I'm making so many mistakes. Log description. Description.classlist.8 error. Date. Not date, but description. Yeah, now it works. Okay, now let's add the function that's going to show message. To do that, let's empty this success message div, and let's declare it as variable in our variables.js const. Make sure you use camel case. Like that. Now we can empty it and edit here. It's going to show success message. Okay, function show. So show success message is going to accept message, and let's create function. So first of all, let's log our success message div to see if it works, and this show success message is going to be called when we edit task. Where is it? Here. Let's pass a message of task successfully edited. Also, we are going to call this function. Actually, let's copy it. When we delete task, also when we edit task, like here, task successfully edit. Oh, not edit, but create, my bad. Okay, after that, let's console.log message. When we create new task successfully created, but it does not show anything here. Probably I made mistake, probably not probably, but definitely. So let me just simply fix it. Where is it? In add task. Here it is. I'm emptying these values before I shift it here, so it should be emptied after task is updated. Okay. Okay, and let's delete task, by the way, and task successfully deleted, as you can see. And if I edit task, task successfully edited. So let me remove this console.log here. We don't need it. Where is it? 97. Okay. Let's collapse and we can continue. Let's cut it from here once again. Let's make sure success message div.inner HTML equals to this right here, and let's remove this ID. We don't need it, we never use it. And let's write a message right here. And when we create a task, whatever, let's say if we use fake filler, when we create a task, it does not work because it needs a class name of active to work. Actually, let me remove this because user can see multiple success messages at the same time, so we don't need this active div, active class name. So if we just delete this task, as you can see, it shows task successful deleted, but it does not go away when it shows it. Okay, to make it happen, I'm gonna use different approach. Let's declare variable of message div that is going to be document dot create element of div. This message div inner HTML should be this right here. Okay, and then let's append this child to our main success message div. And as you can see right now, when I create task, it shows multiple success messages at the same time, and that's what I wanted, and that's better for user experience. Okay, after that, when this timer is over, it is over in 2.7 seconds, as I remember. Yeah, but let's make it 3. Let's round it up. After this over, we should remove this div element entirely. To make it happen, we can simply set in timeout. Write function here. Sorry, my bad. Countdown should be 3000 milliseconds, and after 3000 milliseconds, success div, not success div, but message div should be removed, and it's as simple as that. Okay, now let's create task. This fake filler extension, by the way, it's very handy. When we create task successfully created, create another one. As you can see, this was removed, and as you can see, it works. It shows multiple success messages at the same time. That's what we wanted. Okay, now let's declare this variable, because why not? Let's call it create success message. It's going to accept message, of course, and it's going to return set element, and use it here, show success message. Okay, actually I made mistake here, not show success message, but create some success message. It's going to create loop to end. Yeah, let's see if it works now. And as you can see, yeah, it works. Another thing I want to correct is that if we create task and write task title and not the date and click create task button, as you can see, task title value is equals to empty string. To change it and fix it in validate task function, make sure date value equals to empty string, where if there is data value error, and therefore this description value equals to empty string when there is description value error. So now let's see if it works, and yeah, it does. It does not make it. It does not delete our task title right here when toDate is has error, and when it's empty. Okay. After that, I want to change. What I want to change is that when we click create task and there error occurs, when I write something, this error does not go away and it's still here. To change it, let's add event listener right here to this task description and task date. Let's make sure to declare these variables here also. So task date dot add event listener. It's going to be input, and it's going to make sure that if task date dot class list dot contains error, it's going to remove it. Task date dot class list dot remove error. Okay, after that we're going to do the same thing with task the description. So let's do it and check it if it works. So whenever I write something, as you can see, error is gone. Okay, yeah, it works. After that, I'm gonna add this date input mean value, so that to date is not in past, because it's impossible to make it happen. Let's open this variable.js file right here. Let's create variable named today, and it's going to store today's value, and it's going to be new date dot to ISO string. And let's actually console log our today, console.log today, and see what's it. And as you can see, it consoles it, and it looks it, and we just need this part right here before this capitalized T to make it to get this get set value. We're going to split it. We set T and get the first value of the array. So when we console.log today, as you can see, it gives us the value we want. After that, in this create form function, in this input type date, add mean value of today, and let's check it. When we create task, as you can see, we cannot choose the task from the past, date from the past. And yeah, it works. After that, I want to add functionality when due date is over, and we did not when the due date is over, it's going to make this do task this text red. To make it happen, just write simple function in create task function in this span right here. Where is it? Yeah, here. Let's write this functionality. If today is more than task dot the task date, if that's correct, and also the task is not checked, so it is not done, those completed. So if it is not done, then it's going to return a class of overdue. Now, to see if it actually works, I'm gonna create a task with due date over. So let's remove this mean for now, and let's choose due date from the past. Let's create our task and see if it worked. As you can see, class equals to overdue, but if I check it, no, it doesn't work. Okay, because when I check it, our task is not generated. Then to make sure when in this function right here, when we are checking tasks, we are generating tasks also. And as you can see now, when it's checked, it does not have overdue class. Where is it? Right here, it does not have overdue, but when we uncheck it, it has overdue. And yeah, right here in this variable, make sure to write this question mark, and then in other cases just write to return nothing. Okay, like it, and in other cases it's gonna, yeah. Okay, now let's style it here. Its ID is date value, so date value span. Okay, which span is that? It's this one. So when this span has a class name of overdue, let's make sure to add color of far error color. So as you can see, now it's red, but if I check it, it becomes gray, or as it like it gets default color. Okay, now let's upload our project on GitHub. Go to github.com/new, and here you can create a new repository. Let's name our repository to the web, and just create repository. Okay, after creating the repository, there are many ways, by the way, to upload your files, but we are going to use the simplest one and click this upload an existing file right here. Then open your files in files, select content and drop it like here. And after it's finished uploading, we are going to write commit message like creating to-do app. We're going to commit changes and our files are uploaded. After that, we're going to deploy our project. Go to settings, then select pages and make sure it's deploy from the branch is selected here, and select branch. It's going to be the main branch, and click save. Now we wait. And as you can see, now our website has a domain, and when you click the domain, as you can see, it works. Just make sure you copy this link and paste it here, so that other visitors can see your website like this. So that was it. Thanks for watching. Today we have created to-do app. If you enjoyed this video, please give it thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Again, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.